Tortoises and turtles are among the oldest of all living reptiles. They first appeared about 200 million years ago but have evolved little in the intervening time, so that the living species are remarkably similar to those that lived side by side with such animals as dinosaurs. Their most distinctive feature is the hard shell that encloses the soft parts of the body, providing protection and camouflage from predators and the elements. Tortoises and turtles have no teeth and instead use sharp jaws to cut their food. They live on land as well as in freshwater and marine habitats, although all species lay their eggs on land. The terrestrial species are commonly referred to as tortoises, while those that live in freshwater are often called terrapins. The term turtle was traditionally reserved for marine species, but most zoologists now use it to refer to all members of the order. Although they are most common in tropical regions, tortoises and turtles are also found in temperate parts of the world. Some marine species undertake long-distance migrations, either in search of food or to reach their nest sites. All tortoises and turtles have a shell, 4 limbs, and a horny, toothless beak in their jaw. The shell consists of upper and lower parts, known as the carapace and plastron respectively, joined between the front and back legs on each side by a bridge. All parts of the shell have 2 layers, an underlying bony layer and an outer epidermal layer. The outer layer is made of thin, horny plates, scutes, which contain the pigment that gives each species its distinctive coloration. Some species lack scutes and have soft, leathery shells. The shape of the limbs differs between terrestrial and aquatic species. Most terrestrial species have short, club-shaped legs, while in aquatic species they are either webbed or shaped like flippers. Since their ribs are fused to the shell, see below, tortoises and turtles cannot move their ribs to draw air into and out of their lungs. Instead, they use muscles at the tops of their legs to provide the necessary pumping action. Turtles and tortoises are too slow-moving to pursue active prey, although a few aquatic species, mostly those that live in murky, clouded water, hunt by ambush, remaining motionless in the hope that a fish or crustacean will inadvertently swim past. Tortoises are primarily herbivorous, grazing or browsing on leaves and fruits. Many species also eat animals, such as caterpillars, that appear incidentally in their food, and most will eat carrion given the chance. Freshwater turtles often start life as insectivores, finding enough small aquatic larvae and other small prey to survive, but, as they grow, they switch to a diet consisting mainly of aquatic vegetation. Some marine turtles eat only seaweed as adults, while others feed on invertebrates, including jellyfish, sea urchins, and mollusks. All tortoises and turtles lay their eggs on land. Tropical species may lay several clutches throughout the year, whereas temperate species lay only once or twice during a breeding season. Females can store sperm so that they can continue to lay fertile eggs long after mating. The size of the clutch depends on the size of the species. Small turtles lay 1 to 4 eggs, while the largest species can lay over 100. The green turtle is the most prolific species, laying up to 6 or 7 clutches of more than 100 eggs every 2 weeks. Turtles do not care for their young, although at least one species, the Burmese brown tortoise, stays at its nest for a few days after laying to protect the eggs from predators. Most turtles actively seek out their prey, but the knobbly-shelled matamata lies in wait in shallow, muddy water, using its remarkable camouflage to avoid being seen. Its eyes, set in a triangular head, are small, but it has large external eardrums and sensory skin flaps that help detect moving prey. It also has a snorkel-like nose, which allows it to breathe without rising to the surface. Female matamatas lay up to 28 eggs in a single nesting. Identified by a prominent red stripe behind its eyes, this freshwater turtle is one of over 24 species that live in lakes, rivers, and creeks in North America. Like many of its close relatives, it is fond of basking in sunshine, sometimes forming stacks where basking sites are in short supply, but it is quick to dive into the water if disturbed. As an adult, it lives almost entirely on plant food, but its young eat tadpoles and aquatic invertebrates. The carapace of the leopard tortoise is yellowish, with scattered dark markings that are bolder, although fewer, in hatchlings. In some individuals, it can grow to 28 inches, 70 centimeters, long. This tortoise lives in a variety of habitats, from sandy, coastal scrub to grassland and semi-desert, although it is scarce in very dry deserts. It may bury itself to hibernate in cool parts of its range, and to estivate in the hotter parts. The leopard tortoise is herbivorous, grazing on grasses, fallen fruits, fungi, and the leaves of succulents. In the breeding season, the female digs a flask-shaped pit with her hind feet, urinating to soften hard soil, and lays 3 to 6 clutches of 5 to 30 eggs at monthly intervals. Hatchlings may have to wait in the nest chamber for several weeks for rain to soften the ground before they can burrow to the surface. The young become prey to monitor lizards, storks, crows, and small mammals. As a form of defense, this turtle expels a foul odor from its musk glands, hence the name stinkpot. It can also bite viciously. Rarely leaving quiet, shallow, muddy-bottomed waters, it is often covered in algae. It is active by day, but may also hunt at night, and a pair of sensory barbels on the chin may help it find food, mainly insects, mollusks, plant material, or carrion. It is eaten by bald eagles and red-shouldered hawks, alligators, and fish such as the largemouth bass. Females nest under tree stumps or in the walls of muskrat lodges, laying 1 to 5 eggs at a time. With its long snout and tube-like nostrils, the Chinese soft-shelled turtle can snorkel in shallow water. It also has webbed feet for swimming. When resting, it lies at the bottom, buried in sand or mud, lifting its head to breathe or snatch at prey. It forages at night, taking crustaceans, mollusks, insects, fish, and amphibians. If threatened, it cannot withdraw completely into its shell, but it can give a vicious bite. With its small head and extremely long neck, this turtle is one of Australia's most distinctive freshwater reptiles. Together, the head and neck are often longer than the shell, allowing the turtle to lunge at passing prey, such as fish, tadpoles, and crustaceans. Its long neck also allows it to snorkel while resting on the beds of slow-moving rivers or streams, or in swamps and lagoons. In summer, it may make extensive overland migrations to find water. If disturbed, this turtle can emit a foul-smelling fluid from its musk glands. The female lays 6 to 24 brittle eggs in a nest dug in grassy or sandy areas at night or after rains. This tortoise's thick, shovel-shaped forefeet are specially adapted for digging burrows in which to escape the extreme heat of the desert during the day and the cold at night. It shelters individually in burrows in very hot or drought conditions but may gather in large, communal dens dug into gravel banks to escape the cold. It lives for at least 50 years, mainly eating cacti and grasses, but also feeds on insects. Males have longer projections at the front of their plastrons and may attack each other on sight in the breeding season. This freshwater turtle is one of the most widespread in North America, found in lakes, ponds, and slow-moving streams and rivers from the eastern seaboard to the far Midwest. There are 4 distinct subspecies. All have a flattened, smooth carapace, but some have red margins to their shells, a red stripe on the back, or yellow or red stripes on the neck. This turtle basks for long periods, especially in the morning, several individuals piling up on one another to bask on a favorite log. It is omnivorous and forages actively by day, sleeping on the bottom at night. Hunted by birds, fish, and raccoons, it defends itself by hiding its head inside its shell, or by burying itself in mud. The painted turtle hibernates for variable lengths of time, depending on its location. Most females lay 2 to 20 eggs in 3 clutches in chambers dug in sandy soil. Not all lay eggs every season. The Galapagos tortoise, the largest living tortoise, has a huge carapace, massive limbs, and a long neck. There is a great variation in shell shape and overall size depending on which of the Galapagos Islands the tortoise originates. They spend most of their time grazing in small herds and basking in pools or mud wallows. During the breeding season, males become territorial and start looking for mates, while females create nests in chambers in the ground to lay their eggs. Despite some individuals living to well over 100 years of age, the Galapagos tortoise remains vulnerable. The main threat is depredation at a young age by introduced species such as black rats and cats, as well as competition for vegetation from goats and cattle. Formidable animal is the world's largest freshwater turtle, with a maximum weight reputed to be over 220 pounds, 100 kilograms. Like the matamata, it hunts mainly by sitting and waiting, but it is equipped with a lure that entices fish toward its scissor-sharp jaws. At night, it is an active forager. Males spend their entire lives at the bottom of lakes or rivers, but the females leave the water in spring to lay clutches of 10 to 50 spherical eggs, buried in mud or sand.